Hi everyone and welcome, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to needle felt Sprigatito, the new grass starter from the upcoming Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. She's not too difficult to make, so let's get started. First of all, take a very light shade of green and we need to needle felt it into a small sausage shape. This will be the main body for our little green cat. For the front legs, take a long strip of green wool, roll it into a thin sausage shape and felt it together. If you find the leg is too short after it's done, simply roll another strand of wool around it and felt into place. You'll then need to curve the bottom of the leg up and felt into place. This will be the paw. For each of the back legs, what we're basically doing is a chicken drumstick shape. The bottom part of the leg will be thinner than the top part. Curve up the bottom of the leg like you did with the front legs to make the paw. Make sure that each leg is firm before you finish, otherwise they won't be able to support the body of your cat. And there is our little green chicken drumstick. If the legs still aren't very firm, just simply roll more wool around them. Now we will attach the legs onto the body. Decide where you're going to place each leg and then just felt into place. Don't worry about being too neat at this stage because we'll go over it all with another strip of wool later. When you're happy with the position of the legs, we'll now need to go over it all with a thin strip of wool just to neaten it all out a bit. Before we continue, just double check that the legs are all stable, and if you find one leg is longer than the other, just simply felt it into the body. If you find one leg is shorter than the others, just add a ball of wool to the bottom of it and felt into place. And that's the main body of your green cat done. So now we're going to move on to the head. So I'm going to use a polystyrene ball as a base for the head and wrap some green wool around it and felt it into place. Check the head is big enough against the body. If it needs to be bigger, just wrap some more wool around it. The head is pretty much the same size as the body, so just compare them for size comparison. And now we're going to make the face. So for the leaf shape on its face, take some long strips of green wool and just position them. This will act as a rough guide for the shape of the leaf. Felt each strip into position. Then to make the leaf shape thicker, just gradually add more green wool. Shaping the bottom of the leaf into a cat's mouth shape. For the inside of the mouth, I've taken a purpley pink colour and just felt that into place. Add a lighter shade to the bottom of the mouth for the tongue. The face kinda looks like a small radish at this point. I didn't record the next part, but simply score some eye sockets where you want the eyes to go, and then take a ball of white wool and felt it into a flat disc shape. You can neaten up the edges by tucking in any stray wool. Position the eye into the socket and then just felt it in. Mainly felt round the edges of the eye. This is so then you won't get as many needle poke holes in the wool. Then do exactly the same for the other eye. For the irises, I've taken some orangey pink wool and we'll do exactly the same as we did with the white. Felt it into a disc and then felt it into position. For the shine at the bottom of the iris, take a small strip of pink wool and then just felt into position. And now for the pupils. Felt 2 small discs of black wool and felt into place. Then felt a small blob of white wool for the shine. The eyes ended up a little bigger than the leaf shape that I had originally done for the face. So we'll just add some more green wool around the edges of each eye. Then just simply take a ball of dark pink wool and felt into a little nose shape. The nose was a little big when I'd finished, so I just felted a bit of green wool over the top. The teeth are very fiddly, so be careful with the point of your needle. Take a very small ball of white wool and felt it into a tooth shape. And now time to make the ears. For the ears, take a thick green strand of wool and felt it into a triangle shape. Score a triangle shape into the middle of the ear. Compare the size of the ear with the head, and then if you're happy with the size, take a light shade of green wool and felt it into a triangle shape for the inside of the ear. Try to felt lightly and at an angle, so stop the lighter shade of green showing through the darker shade on the back of the ear. I've used some pins before felting the ears into place, just to make sure they'll stay steady. Then just simply felt a lighter shade of green over the ear to hold it into position. Take the pins out when you're happy with the positioning of the ears and continue to felt. Okay, so we've nearly finished the face now. All that's left now is to add some whiskers. Roll some light green wool into a spike shape. And then make a couple of curved leaf shapes. Felt around the edges of the shape. This will tuck in any stray wool and keep the shape nice and neat. Then felt the leaf shape on top of the spike shape. Check the size of the whiskers against the face and then make another curved leaf shape. Felt this on top of the other 2 shapes. And then just trim off any stubborn stray bits of wool with some scissors. Just like we did with the ears, pin the whiskers into position and then felt into place. And that is the face finally finished. Now for the tail. Wrap a strand of wool around a polystyrene ball and felt it into place. Felt the wool into a teardrop shape and continue to felt until the tail is nice and smooth. For the strand of fur poking out at the bottom of the tail, simply felt a long spike shape. And felt it into position. Decide where you want to position the tail onto the back of the body. Felt a tuft of wool onto the back end and then just simply felt the tail over the top. It can be easier to do this with some glue. Just one last thing to do now, and that's its leafy collar. Take a dark shade of green wool and you're looking to felt it into sort of a crescent moon-like shape. Once the collar is nice and firm, we'll just add some leafy shapes to it. So first make a leaf shape to pop onto the bottom of the collar. Then felt some curved leaf shapes to put around the edges of the collar. I will admit, this is actually my first attempt of making the leafy collar. It was too big in the end for our green cat. I'm using this footage just to give you a clear example of what I'm doing. Trim off any stray bits of wool to neaten up the collar. Then felt some light green wool into small leaf-like shapes. And then felt them onto the main collar. Okay, so that's the collar done. Just check its position and size against the main body. Then flatten a ball of green wool into a disc shape for the neck. Then just simply felt it onto the front end of the main body. I'm just adding a tag onto the collar. This is so then I can felt it on top of the neck easier. The absolute final thing to do now is attach the head onto the top of the neck. It didn't felt too well onto the neck, so I'll just use some glue. Once it's dried, just felt some more wool around the neck. Just give your green cat a little bit of a neaten up and she's all finished. Okay, and that's your Sprigatito all finished and ready for battle. At time of recording, we still don't know if it'll have a secondary element added to it when it evolves. I think it might stay permanently grass type, but if it does have a secondary element to it, I'm thinking maybe fairy, but who knows, they might surprise us. It could even be dark. Okay, and on that note, I shall leave you with please like and subscribe. Also, let me know if you want to see the other starters from the upcoming Scarlet and Violet Pokemon games being felted. I almost did the fire starter, but I thought that Sprigatito, I hope I'm saying it right, would be more popular. So, yeah, see you next time.